Parashara drew 7 concentric circles in the sand. Maitreya, this world is spread out like a blooming lotus. As the sound of the Narmada River filled the air, the map of the horizontal universe began to unfold.
It's quite an image, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, we are so used to looking at, blue marbles floating in a void, but here, the sage Parashara is asking Maitreya and us, really, to completely reimagine the geometry of existence.
It is immense and frankly a bit disorienting. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cracking open the second Amsha of the Vishnu Purana. We're picking up right where the sage Parashara is answering Maitreya's burning question. So Maitreya has seen the vertical dimensions of the universe, the heavens, the hells, but now he looks down at his feet and asks, how wide is this? What's the extent of the world?
Precisely. He's asking for the geography of the horizontal plane, and the answer he gets is not a globe, but a lotus.
A lotus.
A massive concentric system that challenges everything we think we know about space, matter, and, well, reality itself.
So let's unpick this drawing in the sand. Parashara describes the world as a lotus flower. That's a lovely poetic image, but functionally, what are we actually looking at? Yeah. Because when I read the dimensions in the source material, lovely wasn't the first word that came to mind. Impossible was closer to the mark.
It's structurally overwhelming, yes.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is a system that radiates from a center. In modern cosmology, we're used to the Big Bang model, everything sort of exploding outward into a vacuum.
Right.
Here, the structure is static but expansive. Mm. And at the very center of this lotus is the island where we, metaphysically speaking, currently reside. This is Jambudvipa.
Jambudvipa, the island of the Jambu tree. Now, before we move on, we have to talk about the scale, because this is where my modern brain started to, short circuit. The text says, this central island alone spans 100,000 yojanas.
Which is astronomical. Absolutely.
Well, for you listening at home trying to picture this, what is a yojana in modern terms? It varies, doesn't it?
It does, but a standard conservative conversion is roughly, 8 or 9 miles? Mm-hmm. So do the math.
100,000 yojanas is nearly 900,000 miles, which is immediately a problem for the literal mind. I mean, the diameter of the Earth is only about 8,000 miles. Jambudvipa is wider than the diameter of the sun.
It is.
So is Parashara bad at geography, or are we just reading the map with the wrong set of eyes?
We are definitely reading it with the wrong set of eyes. If you try to map Jambudvipa onto the physical globe of Earth, trying to find where India fits, or the UK, you will fail. This isn't a cartographic survey for a road trip.
No.
It's a phenomenological map.
Phenomenological, meaning it maps the experience of the observer.
Exactly. It describes the field of experience for conscious beings. So think of Jambudvipa not as a continent, but as the hub of life. It's the entire known habitable realm where terrestrial life exists.
So it's the stage, it's where the action is.
It's the spotlight, precisely. And surrounding this massive circular stage is the first boundary, the ocean of salt, or Lavana.
Right. So we start with earth and salt water. That feels grounded. That feels like home. I look out at the ocean. It's salty. I stand on the land. It's earth. It lures you in with familiarity, doesn't it?
It does. It starts with the sensory experience we all know.
Yeah.
Salt is the taste of the earth, the taste of sweat and tears. It's the base layer. But this is where Parashara takes the stick he's using and expands the map into something that sounds like, high-concept science fiction. Because Jambudvipa isn't the only landmass, is it?
Not even close. And this is where the text surprised me. I assumed Jambudvipa was the world, but Parashara says, no, that's just the bullseye. We enter the concept of Saptadvipa.
The 7 islands.
The 7 islands.
The 7 concentric rings. Imagine dropping a stone in a pond and see those ripples moving outward. Jambudvipa is just the stone. Ringing the salt ocean is the second island, Plaksha.
Plaksha.
Correct. And then surrounding Plaksha is another ocean. And then the third island, Shalmala. Mm-hmm. And Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka. And finally, the 7th and outermost island, Pushkara.
Pushkara. Okay, so we have 7 concentric rings of land. But here is the detail that stopped me in my tracks while I was looking at the data. It's the mathematics of it. It's not linear. It's not like each island is the same width.
No, it's a geometric progression. And this is where that ancient Indian fascination with large numbers and infinity really shines. Parashara states that as you move outward from the center, every single island is exactly twice the size of the one before it.
Twice the size. So if Jambudvipa is 100,000 yojanas, Plaksha is 200,000, Shalmala is 400,000.
And it just keeps doubling. By the time you reach that outer ring of Pushkara, the scale is Well, it's incomprehensible. We're talking about distances that light would take significant time to traverse.
Why do that? Why structure the universe with this specific mathematical explosion? Is it just to impress us with size? Is it just hyperbole?
I don't think it's mere hyperbole. It serves a dual purpose, I think. First, it humbles you.
Yeah.
It suggests that what we consider our world, this central island, is actually a very small, concentrated part of a much, much larger reality.
We're in the tiny, dense center.
Exactly. But secondly, look at the pattern. It mirrors nature. Look at cell division. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8.
Right, mitosis.
Yes. Exponential growth is the signature of life. The universe isn't just a box that was built. It's a ballooning, growing thing. It suggests the cosmos itself is a living organism, constantly expanding outward from a seed.
That's a fascinating take, a biological map as much as a geographical one. But if the land masses are getting exponentially huge, the oceans separating them, they're getting even stranger.
Oh, yes.
We mentioned the salt ocean surrounds Jambudvipa, but what surrounds Plaksha, it's not salt water.
No. And this is where many modern readers might stumble and dismiss the text as, fantasy. But we need to look deeper. The oceans separating these ring islands are composed of different substances. Following the salt ocean, we have the ocean of sugarcane juice, or ikshu.
Sugarcane juice, which, let's be honest, sounds sticky.
Extremely. Then we have the ocean of wine, sira. Then ghee, or clarified butter, sarpas. Then curds, or yogurt, dadi. Then milk, shira. And finally, surrounding the massive outer island of Pushkara is an ocean of sweet fresh water.
I have to play the skeptic here. My first reaction was, is this a menu or a map? We have seas of yogurt and ghee. It sounds whimsical, almost like a children's fairy tale.
It does.
Why would a sage who's discussing the geometry of the cosmos with such mathematical precision suddenly start talking about pantry ingredients?
It does sound delightful. A tsunami of Merlot coming in from the ocean of wine. But we have to apply the deep dive lens here. We need to strip away the literalism. Let's talk about what we call the liquid oceans paradox.
Which is?
The paradox is that these are described as oceans, but they almost certainly represent different states of matter or energy. In ancient cosmology, you didn't have words like plasma or non-Newtonian fluid or molecular density.
You had sensory metaphor.
You had the language of the kitchen and the farm. Exactly.
So if you're an ancient sage trying to explain to a student that the universe is layered with substances of varying thickness, viscosity, and chemical composition, you use what's available.
Precisely. Think about the properties. Water is thin and volatile. Ghee-sarpas is viscous, it's rich, and its potential fuel. It burns brightly.
So the ocean of ghee might represent a layer of the universe that is dense with potential energy, like a vast fuel source.
Exactly. It could be a field of combustible gases or a specific density of plasma. And look at the ocean of Milk-Kira. This appears in almost every Indian cosmology. I mean, we call our own galaxy the Milky Way, do we not?
We do. That's a good point.
Milk represents a nurturing, life-giving suspension. It implies that the universe isn't just empty, cold vacuum. It's filled with distinct, layered states of existence that nourish the worlds within them.
So it's not dead space.
It's not dead space. It's wine, it's milk, it's sustenance.
That completely reframes it. It turns the map from a grocery list into a chemistry chart of the cosmos. It suggests the universe is rich.
It is a universe of abundance. And notice the progression. We move from salt, which is harsh, dehydrating the tears of the earth, through sugar, wine, and fats, ending at sweet water. We move from the crude to the refined.
From the complex to the pure. So the further out you go, the purer the element becomes.
In a sense, yes. The outer ocean is pure, sweet water. Basic, fundamental, life-affirming. It's as if the complexity of the center just sort of dissolves into purity at the edge.
Speaking of the edge, where does it end? Every map has borders. If I keep walking across Pushkara, past the Sweetwater Ocean, what happens? Do I fall off the lotus petal?
You reach the ultimate boundary. And the name of this boundary is practically poetry. Loka Loka.
Loka Loka. It's a palindrome. It's fun to say. What does it actually translate to?
It translates roughly to world not world, or the visible and the invisible. Loka means world. Maloka means that which is not a world. So it's the boundary between something and nothing.
And physically, how is it described in the Purana?
It's a massive circular mountain range that acts as the shell of the universe. It's the absolute border, the physical, perceptible world.
And what's on the other side of the wall?
Darkness. The texts are very specific on this. Inside the ring of Loka Loka, the light of the sun, the moon, and the stars can penetrate. But the mountain range is so high that it blocks all light from going further.
Oh.
Beyond Loka Loka is the void. perpetual darkness.
That gives me chills. It sounds remarkably like the concept of the observable universe in modern physics. We can see out to a certain point the cosmic horizon and then nothing.
It's a profound parallel, isn't it? The ancients understood that there's a limit to perception. There's a realm of light where we live, and there's a realm of darkness beyond, where the rules of physics as we know them might just dissolve. Loka is that hard line. It tells us, you belong here in the light. Beyond this, you cannot go.
It effectively creates a closed system, a capsule of light floating in an infinite dark. So we've traveled all the way to the edge. Now, I want to pull us back. Let's zoom in, past the yogurt ocean, past the mine, past the salt, all the way back to the bullseye.
Back to the center.
The dead center of Jambudvipa. Because if the universe is a wheel, it needs an axle.
It does. A wheel cannot spin without a hub. And this is perhaps the most famous feature of Puranic geography. Standing in the center of Jambudvipa is the Golden Mountain, the Axis Mundi itself, Mount Meru.
Mount Meru. I feel like I've heard this name in so many contexts, even in architecture, right? The pagoda structure.
Yes, pagodas and temples across Asia are often architectural representations of Meru. They are attempts to build the cosmic mountain on Earth. In Vishnu Purana, its specifications are, well, they're majestic. It stands 84,000 yojanas high.
84,000.
And it's described as golden, gem-like, broader at the top than the bottom in some descriptions, like the seed pod of the lotus.
The scale is, again, mind-bending. It's not just a mountain. It's a pillar connecting Earth to the heavens. But functionally, what does it do? Is it just a big rock, or is it a machine?
Power tower is a good way to think of it. It serves a mechanical function. In this model, the sun, the moon, the stars, they don't just wander aimlessly. They perform pradakshina. They circumambulate Mount Meru.
Wait, I want to clarify that. In the modern heliocentric model, the Earth goes around the sun. Here, you're saying the sun goes around the mountain.
In this horizontal map, yes. Meru is the anchor of time. The celestial bodies revolve around it like lights on a carousel. It is the stable point around which the entire temporal world spins. Day and night are caused by the sun moving behind the mountain. If Meru moves, the universe collapses.
So it's the gyroscope of the universe.
Correct. And it's not just mechanical, is it? It's spiritual. It's the conduit. The source material mentions the descent of the Ganges.
Yes, this is a beautiful piece of imagery. The celestial Ganga, the Ganges River, is said to fall from the heavens, but it doesn't hit the ground directly.
No.
It crashes onto the peak of Meru first, like a cosmic shock absorber.
Exactly. If that divine energy fell directly onto the earth, it would shatter it. The power is too great. Meru breaks the fall. And from there, it splits into 4 streams and flows down the sides of the mountain to sanctify the world.
It just reinforces that idea that Meru is the connection point. It's where the divine meets the physical.
And Brahma's city is said to be at the very peak. It is the high ground of the universe.
It's such a powerful image, a golden pillar wrapped in the orbits of the sun and moon, channeling the waters of heaven. It really emphasizes stability. Everything else, the islands, the oceans, they're all spreading out, expanding, shifting, but Meru stands still.
And that contrast between the moving periphery and the still center is what I find most compelling. You have these oceans of milk and ghee representing the flux of life. You have the expanding islands. But at the core, there must be something that does not move.
Which brings us to what we call the mirror moment. We always try to take these ancient maps and see if they map onto our modern psychology. Because if this is a map of experience, then it must apply to our daily experience. And I was reading about the salt ocean, the shifting islands, and I couldn't help but think how scattered modern life feels.
It is the perfect analogy. We are living in a time of extreme horizontal expansion. Think about it. We jump from app to app, trend to trend. We are exploring the ocean of wine. 1 minute, distraction, entertainment, and the ocean of salt. The next, dissatisfaction, comparison. We are constantly moving outward.
We live on digital islands. We surf the notification oceans. And the result is we often feel seasick. We feel unmoored.
Because we lack a Meru. A map without a center is just chaos. If you don't have an Axis Mundi in your own psychology, a fixed point of values, a core identity that doesn't change no matter what ocean you're in, you get swept away.
That is the question for you listening today. What is your Mount Meru? In a life of storms and notifications and constant noise, where is the point that does not move?
It could be your integrity. It could be a spiritual practice, a commitment to your family. But you need that golden axis. Without it, you're just drifting in the salt ocean. With it, even if the sun and moon are spinning wildly around you, you remain grounded.
You become the master of your own geography.
For your own Axis Mundi.
It's a call to stability in a chaotic world.
And it connects back to Parashara's lotus. A lotus blooms amidst the mud, but its stem is rooted deep, and its center is open and balanced. It is a symbol of poise.
So let's recap this incredible journey. We started with Parashara drawing in the sand. We explored Jambudvipa and realized it's not a continent, but the stage of our reality. We hopped across the Saptadvipa, witnessing the exponential expansion of the world.
We sailed through oceans of milk and ghee, understanding them not as groceries, but as the rich, layered states of matter and energy. We traveled to the very edge, the Loka Mountains, peering into the dark void.
And then we returned to the absolute center, the golden Mount Meru, the pivot that holds it all together, and asked ourselves if we have that same stability inside. It's a map that makes the universe feel both infinitely large and incredibly organized. But there's a loose thread we haven't pulled yet.
Yes. There is a critical detail we glossed over in Jambudvipa.
We talked about Jambudvipa as this massive central island, but the texts say that within this island, there's one specific region in the south that is unlike anywhere else in the cosmos.
The land of karma. The texts are fascinating on this point. They say that on all those other massive islands, Plaksha, Pushkara, the inhabitants live for thousands of years. There is no old age, no disease. It's a vacation paradise.
Which sounds great. I'd take a ticket to the island of treacle and longevity. Why would I not want to go there?
You might, but the sages wouldn't. Because in those lands of pleasure, there is no spiritual evolution. You can't change your destiny there. You're just burning off a bank balance of merit. You are stagnant.
A golden cage.
Exactly. But in the southern land, which they call Vartha-Varsha, action actually matters. It's the only place where karma really works.
Mm-hmm.
The texts say even the gods wish to be born there, just for a chance at liberation.
It creates a stunning paradox. Why would you want to leave paradise to come to a place of struggle?
Because struggle is the only forge for the soul.
That is exactly what we are going to explore next time. The secret of the land of karma. The significance of Vartha-Varsha. You do not want to miss that.
It turns the whole idea of heaven on its head. It's going to be a good one.
If this map of the lotus has expanded your mind even a little bit today, please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps us keep these deep dives going.
Indeed. Share the map. Help others find their center.
Until next time, keep looking for your Meru. Goodbye.